Well, hello, friends, particularly friends who may be watching this a little bit later now as we jump on. You can tell I'm sad today. I don't have my normal upbeat uh, voice to kind of come on here. Why, you ask? Well, you should know it's because Nick and Dan's Bible study podcast is just Dan today. So sad, sad story, sad news. But it's good to be here with you anyway. I'm really glad that Nick is on vacation. You wouldn't know it probably from our podcast here, but he's got a lot going on in his life and with his job and things, and a lot of busyness and things that are happening that kind of weigh on him. So I am glad that Nick is able to spend some time resting and relaxing a little bit with his wife, who's a good friend also, and I certainly am glad for that. The good news is that as Nick is away for a couple weeks, we're gonna talk about him. So we're gonna spend this time together talking about what we miss about Nick. No, I'm just kidding. We are going to have the podcast these next couple of weeks. I'm going to be on with a couple of guests, which will be fun. We'll have some different people on for the podcasts to have some good discussions. Of course, the same deal, talking about the Bible and its application to our lives together. So please do join on Friday. We'll have a new episode out, and the coming Friday as well too. I have two different conversations with me and different guests, where we'll continue to talk about the Bible. See my daughter back there waving in the window. She wants to be a part of the action here as well too. So I shared the link there. If you would like to come on and talk with me in my loneliness, in my absence of Nick, if you have a camera and a microphone there on your computer, which most of us do, you can click that link off to the side, and your lovely face will pop up down there, and you can chat with me if you want. I also want to know here, we probably won't take as long today because Nick and I don't have all this stuff to kind of bounce back and forth off of each other. But if there's anything that's going on in your life that you're wrestling with, struggling with, trying to understand from scripture, from discipleship, frustration with other things that you see going on, I'd be happy to chat about that here right now. You can leave a comment off to the side there, and I'll respond to you. I do want to dig back in these few moments that we spent together here this afternoon. Just kind of acquaint you back to the passage that we were looking at here in 1 Peter chapter 3. And I'm really hoping, if you didn't already, do go back to that episode that when Nick and I released on Friday, because there's a lot of good stuff in there. I think that we talked about, and really, I don't know. I mean, are you guys right now? Are you feeling a sense of like trying to figure some stuff out and maybe trying to figure out some stuff with other people? What's going on right now? Let me know kind of what's on your mind and on your heart today, regarding the faith, regarding other brothers and sisters. It's a difficult time, and I think it's good for us to have the opportunity to kind of talk through that together. Some folks don't feel like they have really a great place to talk about some of the things that they're struggling with or dealing with regarding their faith and the world and everything that's going on. So let me know if you're here. I see a few eyes that are with us here this afternoon. Let me know if you're here. Just leave a comment and say hello, and let me know that you're along here for the ride this afternoon for these few moments we have together, and we can chat a little bit. And again, if anybody wants to join me, you're certainly welcome to go ahead and do that here. So what we looked at in our podcast episode was 1 Peter chapter 3. I don't know if Nick and I talked about this online or not, if it was an offline conversation, but Jesus and Paul and Peter, these apostles, they really have a way of getting at the heart of the matter, right? The heart of what's going on. And there's a repetition there that makes us uncomfortable, right? Because we tend to avoid it. We talked about that in the episode, and in particular, we see again and again and again these admonitions to be humble, to be gentle, to care for our brothers and sisters and those around us, and even in this passage, right, as we deal with what we might say is our enemies, right? Those who we don't really get along with, we don't see eye to eye with, and so we need to kind of do some business with that, if you will, sometimes in our lives. So, 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 8 says this: finally, all of you be like-minded and sympathetic, love one another, be compassionate and humble. Do not repay evil for evil or insult with insult. On the contrary, repay evil with blessing, because to this you were called, so that you may inherit a blessing. These admonitions, right? These instructions, these things that are shared with us, really commanded of us in Scripture again and again, and yet we so easily move past it. So I just want to encourage you, if you're watching this right now or watching it later, to think about this yourself. Do people find you to be a sympathetic person when they share things about life? Do people find you to be compassionate? Compassionate means, right, to suffer together, to experience that, excuse me, alongside one another, and humble. These things, the gentleness, the humbleness, the humility, right? It comes up again and again and again throughout Scripture. And, do people find us to be that way, right? To have that posture in our lives. And then, right, the challenging stuff. Do not repay evil with evil or insult with insult. On the contrary, repay evil with blessing. So here's what I want to ask: if you're here today, what or who are you having a hard time figuring out how to respond to in this way? What is it? What is it, or who is it, or what are the things or the attitudes or the statements right now that you're hearing that are making you upset? What are the things that are, you kind of, if you're not careful, you just could kind of respond in a way that would be not what this passage of Scripture is talking about? Is there anything that's going on right now that's just making you really frustrated, upset, angry, that you feel like is just not right? And that you're, we see people respond very differently to those things. Some people just kind of eat it, they internalize it, they just kind of keep it to themselves, and sometimes it festers. Sometimes people can just let it go, but sometimes it festers and we get angry. Sometimes we find a safe person to have a conversation with, or a group, and sometimes we just go online and we blast Facebook, right, with what we're frustrated or angry about, and that tends to not go really well. As a matter of fact, if I'm honest, that's the thing that's kind of frustrates me the most recently, is when people just kind of blast out stuff that really just stirs things up, not in a great way, there online. So, what do you think? What are you dealing with? What are you thinking about here today as we deal with some of these things and some of these challenges that we navigate, Well, if nobody wants to talk today, We don't have to. Usually it takes Nick and I a good 20 minutes or so of banter back and forth between ourselves to to get to the point where we get some good interaction. As a matter of fact, last week, I think it was a good 20 or 30 minutes where nobody jumped in with anything. I'm not going to talk myself for 20 minutes here for you. So if y'all don't have anything on your mind here today, that is just fine. We'll jump back in here next week on Friday. We'll be back with a new podcast episode, which I'm pretty excited about, and we'll dig into the Word together. I think you guys will be glad to kind of hear some different voices and things going on in the conversation. So please do check in on that. Again, if you haven't watched or listened to the episode that's on this passage that I just read some of here that Nick and I had a great conversation about last Friday, please go back and give that a listen or a watch because we want to kind of keep up to date on this conversation. It's kind of an ongoing thing that's happening here. So, all right, I love you guys. We're missing Nick today, but glad he can enjoy his time off. And we will see you on Friday with a new episode. Catch you later. Bye.